The continent of Tamriel is a land of incredible diversity, home to many tribes of men, mer and beastfolk races who share a multitude of cultures between them. Of all these races, perhaps the most misunderstood are the Orsimer, or Orcs. Long distrusted for their supposed brutishness and their appearance, many claim the Orcs to be beastfolk, related to goblins, but in reality they are a race of mer, brethren to high, dark and wood elves. The Orsimer are known for their ferocity in war, their skill in smithing, and the strict and brutal code of honor that they live by. From their often besieged land of Orsinium and other regions where they traditionally settle, the Orcs have provided many of the most interesting aspects of Tamrielic life throughout the eras of its existence. Who are the Orsimer, and why are they so different from their mer siblings? In this video we will endeavour to find out. Welcome to our latest video on the playable races of the Elder Scrolls universe, in which we will cover the history and culture of the green-skinned children of Malakath. Do you need some greenskins to fight, or any other colours for that matter? And do you need somewhere cool to fight them? And are we both thinking of tabletop gaming and not real life? Well, hopefully, in which case allow us to link you to our sponsor today, Chepeku, who are offering their new Complete Fantasy Bundle. This is a cheaper collection of the tabletop fantasy gaming assets produced by Chepeku, divided into 3 categories. First is your maps, beautiful environments to cover all situations and inspire new quests for your adventurers, with animation and sounds when used in virtual tabletop programs. There are more than 6,000 maps in the archive already, so if you need something they've probably got it. Second is scenes, vistas and locations you can use as backdrops for gameplay events. And again, there are thousands of options already in there, with variations for different attributes. Third is tokens, a system for generating NPCs, monsters, or any character really. This is extra useful for quickly making actors in the world in virtual tabletop programs, and comes with easy randomization options. Every month they release 5 new maps, 5 new scenes, and more than 40 new tokens, and to get them, plus the massive back catalogue, you used to need to buy 3 different subscriptions. But their new offer with the Complete Fantasy Bundle is that you need only pay for 2 to get all 3. It's also much cheaper than their previous Patreon subscription method, so whether you're already using Chepeku or want to give it a try, now's the ideal time. Visit go.chepeku.com/wizards_warriors to sign up. The Orcs are part of the family of Mer, one of the 3 major families of Tamriel, alongside men and beastfolk. Some of their elven brethren claim that the Orcs are beastfolk, due to their supposed similarity with goblins, but this is mere prejudice of the weak-minded. The Orcs are called Orsimer, which in the ancient Altmeri tongue means cursed folks, or pariah folks. In their native tongue of Orcish, the Orsimer call themselves Ornim. The Orcs are a widely dispersed people. They are also found in Skyrim and Valenwood, and also used to roam the deserts of Hammerfell and the mountains of Morrowind. However, the homeland of the Orsimer is the city of Orsinium, and the mountains of Hrothgar and Dragentail, wedged between Hammerfell, High Rock and Skyrim. This is a difficult neighbourhood. Sandwiched between many different warlike peoples, the Orcs have long been both predator and prey in many ruthless and brutal wars. The wide distribution of the Orsimer means that they come in many shapes and forms, a fact forgotten by many of the other Tamrielic races. One subspecies of Orcs that deviate from the mainstream are the Wood Orcs, the Orsimer who dwell in Valenwood, alongside the Bosmer. The Wood Orcs are as agile and mobile as the Wood Elves, and particularly like painting their faces red with blood. There are also the Iron Orcs of Dragentail, who live in stone complexes, and have a reputation as fierce warriors that have tamed many a bizarre beast, like the 4-eyed Welwys. The City Orcs are the ones who live in urban centres, alongside men, mer and beastfolk, and are considered soft teddy bear wimps by their brethren. Besides them, there are extinct varieties of Orsimer, such as those from the deserts of Hammerfell who were purged by the Redguard, and the mountain orcs of Morrowind, who were purged by the Tribunal. Throughout their diasporic territories, the Orsimer gather in settlements known as strongholds. There, under the rule of chieftains, who marry every woman who is not their kin, the Orsimer live difficult lives, where their strength is constantly tested. Indeed, violence is what the Orsimer are known for. However, the Orcs are not just notorious warriors, they are skilled craftsmen who have mastered the metals of ebony and orichalcum. Magic is not their strong suit, but some Orsimers who live in Valenwood are known for being blood shamans. The Orcs thus defy any stereotype and characterization. They can be rugged and seemingly violent to outsiders, but are sophisticated in their craftsmanship and cosmopolitanism as well. The origins of the Orsimer are shrouded in mystery and filled with legend. It is said that they were once like all the other elves who arrived from the mythical elven homeland of Altmeris to the Somerset Isles during the prehistoric Merethic era. How they split off from their other Mer siblings is unclear, but their Genesis myth offers some clues. In the Dawn or Merethic era, many ancestors or great heroes of the elves were seen as gods, including a certain Adric lord called Trimenac. He was said to be the guardian of Aldmer and conflicted with a Chimmer movement led by Saint Veloth, who the Daedric prince Boethia patronized. The two warriors entered into conflict, with Boethia becoming angry at Trimenac for using the name of the missing god Lorcan in vain. Thus, Boethia and Trimenac organized a duel amongst themselves. Trimenac went to strike Boethia, but was backstabbed by another prince, Mafala. Boethia swallowed Trimenac and took on his form, declaring Trimenac a fool and a liar in his voice. After teaching the Chimmer some divine transcending magic, known as the Psychic Endeavor, he relieved himself of Trimenac, who turned into Malakath. Malakath is the Lord of Lies and the Bloody Oath, and lives in the Ashen realm of Ashpit. His followers became known as the Orsimer, or the Orcs, who were allegedly cursed like their lord. While the story of Trimenac's transformation into Malakath is the most widely accepted origin story of the Orsimer, apocryphal stories like the book From Exile to Exodus provide us with alternative accounts. In that tale, Velothi's warriors were outnumbered by Trimenac's until Boethia intervened and called them Orsimer, as if they had always been that way. Trimenac was then revealed to have always been Malakath, who attacked Boethia, furious at his lies being revealed. He defeated Boethia, but was then banished to Ashpit alongside some of his followers. Boethia defeated Malakath in Ashpit and then changed his elven followers into the Orsimer with her teachings. As Malakath's spirit reappeared, Boethia preached that he should test the Orsimer through adversity, sending both Malakath and the Orsimer back to Nurn. Whatever the truth, it seems that the Orsimer are almost universally acknowledged to have been changed in the Dawn or Merethic era, much like the Veloth's Chimmer were eventually changed into the Dunmer or Dark Elves in the First Era. The non-mythical story of the Orsimer begins in the First Era. During this period, the Orsimer were spread all over Tamriel, led by so-called Orcish champions, who sometimes claimed to be demigod children of Malakath. One such champion was Emeg Gro Kyra, who led his people righteously before being tricked into murder by Sheogorath, and then killed by his father, after which his soul joined the Daedric Prince of Madness in the Shivering Isles. Many other champions fought each other and other races, trying to carve out minor statelets in the region. It appears that at some point they were enslaved alongside goblins in the Somerset Isles, but were released, after which they migrated northwards into the deserts of Hammerfell and the ashlands of Morrowind. The Orsimer were considered an enemy to the local races of whatever land they roamed into, but carved out pockets of land for themselves, governed by stronghold chieftains nonetheless. In First Era 874, as the Redguards arrived and carved out their home in Hammerfell, an Orcish warlord named Thulgeg tried to oppose them. However, Thulgeg was vanquished, and the Orsimer were ethnically cleansed from Hammerfell and forced to go north, where they were persecuted by the Bretons. They ended up stuck in the Dragontail Mountains, where they founded the city of Orsinium. From there, the Orsimer raided the surrounding region, until they tried to get a nearby trade hub known as Wayrest to pay for their passage over the Bjulse River. This was the last straw for many surrounding kings. In First Era 948, an alliance formed, made up of King Joyle of Hammerfall, the Kingdom of Sentinel, and the Order of Diagna under Gaiden Shinji of Hammerfell. Together they invaded Orsinium and began a 30-year siege. Many epic deeds were accomplished by both men and mer in those years, while both sides inflicted much suffering. Eventually, the Orsimer were defeated and purged from their home. The Orsimer managed to re-establish Orsinium in the Second Era and under the protection of the Empire, but the Bretons sacked it once more in Second Era 431. After much wandering, the Orsimer managed to build a chiefdom in Falkreath under Chief Korog Gro Barkach. Korog established a strong state, but met his downfall when he tried to engineer a conflict between the two opposing cults of the Orsimer, those who worshipped Malakath and those who worshipped Trimenac. This plot was discovered, and the king was killed unceremoniously. It was after this that the Orsimer regained their home of Orsinium by signing the Daggerfall Covenant, which saw them enter an alliance with some Redguard and Breton kingdoms, and help the Breton king Emeric defeat King Rancer of Shornhelm. Thereafter, Basrag Gro Farron took over as king of Orsinium. As the Third Era dawned, a new king, called Gortwalk Gro Negorm, managed to get Emperor Uriel Septim VII to accept Orsinium as a territory of the Empire equal to other provinces by intercepting a letter that revealed the location of the Totem, a tool required to use the ultimate time-altering weapon, the Numidium. The Orsimer Supremo spread the contents of the letter and sparked conflict amongst the 7 powers of Iliac Bay. This conflict corresponds with the events of the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. After gaining recognition from Uriel, Gortwalk famously remarked that, "I aspire to raise my race from the mire. I will bring them to equal standing with the other races of Tamriel. My goal is not to conquer Tamriel, but to create the Orcish homeland." The Third Era brought prosperity to Orsinium, with many setting off to Imperial cities and becoming blades, smiths and neos. Despite their outsider status, the Orsimer pleasantly participated in the wealth and the power of the Septim Empire in warfare and commerce. However, things were bound to end with the coming of the Fourth Era. The chaos of the post-Oblivion Crisis Tamriel led the Redguards and Bretons to invade Orsinium once more, yet again sacking it. The Imperial Legion escorted the Orsimer out of the region and sent them as refugees to major locations, such as Skyrim. Some minor kingdoms, like the Bloodfall Kingdom, survived, but as of the events of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the Orcs have no permanent homeland and live in either small statelets or strongholds and segregated areas of major cities in Tamriel. Let us now move on to a general discussion of the Orsimer's culture. We have previously mentioned the ability of the Orsimer to fight with courage and might. So ingrained is war in Orc mindset that sayings and idioms in the Orsimer language are all about combat. Military traditions vary by region. We have already mentioned the Wood Orcs and their use of blood as war paint. Most Orcs prepare for battle by performing great rites to Malekith, drinking and brawling amongst themselves. However, the most curious wartime custom of the Orsimer is how they have managed to tame even goblins and trolls as war pets, using them in battle. Orcish architecture is Spartan in its expression, comprised of stone buildings unadorned by decoration. Their strongholds are said to comprise some of the sturdiest buildings in Tamriel, while the Orcs of Dragentail carve their buildings directly out of the mountain face. Orsimer cuisine is characterized by strong alcohol and sturdy meats, which are hard for other races to consume. Orc strongholds are rugged places where strangers are not welcome. Within them, only one man, the chieftain, is allowed to marry the women. His first wife is the huntswife, and is the one who manages patrols. The second is the forge wife, who controls the forge. Indeed, women are the main smiths of the Orsimer. There is also the domestic wife or hearthwife, and female bodyguards known as shield wives. The only women not married to the chief are his daughters, while men live as warriors. The chieftain can only be replaced by combat, usually by a son who challenges him and wins against him. The Orsimer have a strict code of duty and honor, which has been used to ensure that their society maintains a certain level of balance. Any misdeed committed within an Orc stronghold must be immediately paid by a blood price or spilling of blood, so as to satisfy the offended party. These and other spiritual matters are handled by shamans and wise women, who are the spiritual guides of the Orsimer. These figures are respected in Orsimer society and are some of the few that are highly proficient in using magic. A more lax part of Orcish life is the game of Voshball, a sport in which teams of 6, armed with 3 balls, face off against each other. In a sort of reverse dodgeball rule set, the teams are meant to stand firm against the balls hurled at them, and whoever is left standing last is the victor. Far from one-dimensional brutes, the Orsimer are not just warriors, but have everything all other races have: moments of joy and moments of industry. The most interesting part of Orsimer life is their religion and how it impacts their society. Their main deity is Malekith, formerly Treminiac, whose words and deeds guide the Orsimer. The Orsimer see themselves and Malekith as outcasts, and have proudly embraced their status as pariah folk. As such, the Orcs do not follow the laws of elves or men, but live by their own rules, the Code of Malekith. The Code of Malekith is unwritten, but it can be easily summarized by the following proverb: "Do not steal, do not kill your kin, do not attack without cause. Those who break these rules must pay the blood price." This code regulates the blood price, and the directness but also the dutifulness of Orsimer life. However, Orsimer religion is not unaffected by outside influences, nor is it a monolithic entity. Some outsider festivals are observed by the Orsimer, such as the Festival of the Serpent, which marks the new year, while the worship of Malekith has always been divided into different orders and sects, such as the Agra Chun and Malekith's Brutal Breed. Mainstream Orsimer society has always worshipped Malekith, whom they claim sends them favors and challenges them to prove their worth. Harshness and challenge are the pinnacle of the Orsimer religion, and their spiritual beliefs tend to reflect this. For instance, Orsimer who die are said to join Malekith in the Ash Pit, where they are blessed with endless pleasures and endless combat. Some parts of Orsimer society continue to worship Trimonac, either as the one who truly defeated Boethia, or as the true god they should worship as opposed to the oppressive Malekith. Some kings have tried to make this cult popular, but have never been successful at doing so. The Orsimer who worship Trimonac believe in Aetherius, the same afterlife that the other races of Mer believe in. Some secret Orcish cults, like the Vosh-Rak, seek to restore Trimonac worship. Some other Orsimer worship Boethia, but little information exists of this. Orsimer death rituals are very unique. Many Orsimer are cremated, with the ashes of particularly important people being forged into swords. If Orsimer are not burned, then their bodies are drained of blood, and they are buried under their weapons beneath a stone cairn. The Orsimer are also able to manifest the memories of their clans into totems, usually resembling animals. Orsimer burial grounds are guarded fiercely, as Orcish blood is alchemically potent, and their bones are useful for various necromantic rituals. Thus it is no surprise that the Orcs are protective of their dead. As we can see, Orsimer religion is simple on the surface, but upon closer inspection is a complex and highly fascinating affair. Throughout their history, the Orsimer have endured genocide and persecution, but have nonetheless managed to prove themselves to be a powerful and intelligent force in Tamrielic affairs. The followers of the Code of Malekith are as likely to forge a mighty shield as they are to bash your head in with it, and are as good with blood magic as they are with maces. Their strongholds are testaments to this duality, both sturdy and mighty. Despite the distrust they face from the other races, the Orsimer have survived and thrived from the Dragontail Mountains to the forests of Valenwood. Throughout the ages of Tamriel, all of the races of men, mer and beastfolk have faced and fought the Orsimer and have grown to respect them despite their distrust. The Orsimer are one of the mightiest races in the Elder Scrolls, something that would make their creator Malekith proud. This series will cover all of the playable races of the Elder Scrolls universe, so make sure you are subscribed and have pressed the bell button to see more. Please consider liking, commenting and sharing, it helps immensely. Our videos would be impossible without our kind patrons and YouTube channel members, whose ranks you can join via the links in the description to know our schedule, get early access to our videos, access our Discord, and much more. This is the Wizards and Warriors channel, and we will catch you on the next one.